Well, hi, good morning, and welcome to my shop here. It is October 11th. It's been quite a few days since I've been in my shop, and a little bit of a holiday for me, but I'm back now and ready to continue with with restoring this radio. I think at the very end of the last video, what I was concluding was I had to take this coil out. It's got to come out for me to get at the wires. There's a capacitor under there too, and I just don't think I can do much with it sitting there. I've taken a preliminary look at it. I don't know if I put it on video or not. Doesn't look quite as scary as perhaps it could be, so I think I can probably, without taking too much risk, just looking at it again, I think it's just these 1, 2, 3, 4 terminals here I need to desolder. The screw here to take this clamp off this coil, and then I can just lift this up out of the way, and then I can get in there. But for sure, the smartest thing I can do right off the bat is stop and drink coffee. I'm going to do that. I think the first step is to try to get as much solder off these connections as possible. And just looking at the way these wires have been put on, they may come loose too. They may actually get disconnected. To get the solder off, I've got two things. I've got some solder braid that'll soak up the solder. This is pretty good for mopping up. And then I've got a solder sucker here, which will vacuum up a pile of solder. That's pretty good at the start. Oh, there's some in there right now. So that's the idea. I've got this other camera you can see hovering right here. Let's look through that camera. There we are. So getting the last couple loose, and that's going to be easy. The first one's going to be a little difficult because the whole thing's going to be rigid in here, so you can't really pry these apart or do anything to really separate them. Don't know that that's really going to be a problem. Let me get my solder now. The trick of the solder sucker is to keep it in the right place when you fire the trigger. You just depress this little button here and boom. But in doing that, it's got a bit of a recoil. You're going to want to have it. Plus, if you have the nozzle part away from the surface, it won't really work. You really got to ram it up, kapowie, just like that. Get the sound effect there, kapowie. So here we go. So if you got a kick out of the Coffee Achievers, do you remember those ads? There was a bunch of them. That was from 1985. I had it in my head that these things were when I was in high school, even younger. So I don't know what's going on. I probably just have a false memory. I think we all live in a world of false memories. So, and coffee. Coffee doesn't work the way most people think it does. People think, oh, drink some coffee, it'll wake you up. No, it can't do that. Coffee works by keeping you from getting sleepy in the first place. So, by implication, if you're already sleepy, it's too late. Coffee works by clogging up receptors in your brain. Let's call them the sleep chemical receptors. With the caffeine in there, the sleepy chemicals can't take their place. You don't feel sleepy. Careful there, Jim. So that's why when people wake up and they are as fresh as they're going to be, first thing in the morning, they run for a coffee. Because without realizing it, they're following the rule. They're trying to drink the caffeine in, get it into their sleepy receptors, and block the sleepy stuff that's going to come, later in the day or in the morning. I think you would have to drink coffee kind of consistently all day long to keep this effect going. I don't. I just drink coffee in the morning. And I think it said you can safely drink quite a few cups of coffee, like 6 or 8 cups of coffee a day. That doesn't have any negative effect on you. I would guess you wouldn't want to be drinking it late in the day because you want your sleepy receptors to get full of sleepy chemicals at that time. So, you know, if somebody's drunk or whatever, getting them coffee is just nonsense. That's nonsense. And I don't know. People really do that, do they? You see that wire's coming right loose there. Okay, I think we're going to switch now to the mop it up method. Now, I think the terminals of the switch and the terminals of the coil are just laid up against each other. I don't think they're mechanically twisted together. We're going to probably find out here. Now, most of my recent videos I do not include this kind of stuff where I'm actually working on the radio like this because it tends to be a little bit drab and boring and the same thing over and over. This is a little different, so I thought, well, I'll put this right on video here. Well, the heat's really traveling up this copper braid. I can't get my hand anywhere near it. Yeah, this is going to take a little while, so I mean, you've seen clearly what it is I'm up to. I think I'm going to carry on without the camera running. And just try to get as much solder off, and then everything should come apart pretty easily at that point. That's the theory. Yeah, okay, let me stop. Hey, maybe I'll even sneak another coffee in. Shoot, I turned off the camera, I continued for another minute, and look at my soldering iron. The tip just broke right off it and disappeared. That's a big problem for me here. The tip went down in there somewhere, I don't know where it went. But I guess I gotta stop for a while and sort out my now dead soldering iron. I wore it out. I've worn out so many soldering irons. Okay, well, a little bit disappointing, but I do have alternate soldering irons, so I will get back at it, you know, a little bit. Yeah, I will have that coffee now. Well, this is a bit of a distraction, but luckily I have another tip. Only this one has a bit of a smaller end. This is the part that broke off. Boing. Put this in. There we go. Would rather have a bit more metal up here, so there's a bit of heat stored in the tip. So because this is, you know, I'm using it on fairly large connections, they draw a lot of heat off. They draw the heat off. The temperature drops. It'd be better if this were a little more metal here. It would have a bit of heat stored in it. This is a soldering iron temperature measurer. I'm going to use it to calibrate my soldering iron here. Let's flip it on now. You can see it has some numbers changing over there. Those are the temperature. That is the temperature rather. 365 I think is where I have it set. Okay, it says 366, 363, 364, 365C is where it thinks this soldering iron tip is at. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit of solder on the gauge here. So we'll find out. Here we go. It's a thermocouple device right down here. definitely hot. That says 360. You know, how accurate can these things really be? Make sure the heat transfers well. 360. And my device over there says 365. Can't complain about that. Who's more accurate? Excellent. So I'm back in business. And I'll probably get... What did I get out of that last tip? 3 years? 3 years of work? Something like that. Okay, I'm going to get back to working on this, which has almost come apart now. To separate those connections, I'm going to have to flex this a fair bit. So I think I've got to release the nut from down here. I'm not the only nut that needs to be released in this shop. Okay, there we go. And now I should be able to flex the whole coil and break those connections. It is tricky though, doing 4 at a time. Now, is there anything I'm missing? Oh my gosh, there's another leg on this thing. Oh no. Yeah, okay, don't get too depressed too quickly. There's another one way down under there again. Oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? Worse yet, how are you going to put it back together? Getting it apart is a lot easier than trying to put it back together. Oh my gosh, I didn't see that. Oh, headaches abound. Oh boy. This whole picture's gotten much more difficult here. So what I'm trying to do is get the coil off the switch. This switch and this switch, there's a mechanical linkage in between coming out to the front here and disappearing up in here, and I am in no way happy about releasing the switch. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe the switch is a very simple mechanical engagement. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe if I... Oh, right. So here's one screw. Now where's the other screw? Where do you think it is? It's going to be way down, completely inaccessible down there. Oh boy. Let's get the other camera and take a closer look here, because I hear the word jackpot floating around. Jackpot meaning a situation you get into you cannot get out of. And I'm pretty close to it here. So looking for that lower one. Let me just turn down some lighting here a little bit. That's just a little easier. We're going to go in real close and try to look right past these upper ones down to the lower one. Wait, where is it? I thought am I imagining it? It's down there. I gotta freehand the camera here. There it is. So you may not know what it is I'm looking at. It's at the very top of the screen now. I'm trying to light it up. You just look for a shape similar to these brackets here. There's just another one of these elbow pieces coming out down there. There it is. Turn the camera this way. Dog bone resistor is probably connected to the same terminal. The soldering iron can kind of slide down in there. It's a yellow wire with no insulation on it. Blade, look at it, it's practically contacting the chassis right there. Right dead center of the screen now. Ooh. That's the one I'm after, actually. You really have to get this coil out of here. If I can make that the last connection to separate. Doesn't seem to be, well, maybe there, I was going to say, it doesn't seem to be a lead wire attached to it like there is on these ones up here. You see that there's three lead wires. Look closely, Jen. 3 lead wires, and then this left one, no lead wire. Just, so maybe that one down there is the same way. So no lead wire to worry about. Reconnecting it is a nightmare. Yes, it's a nightmare. Is there another one I'm missing? I'm not spotting. See, they may have built this thing on a bench, coil attached to the switch, and then had a way to put it into the radio. All assembled. This is not. I'm not seeing much this way. Well, okay. Is there anything we can pick up from looking at this one? I don't think so. It's just more of the same sort of stuff. Pick up in a sense any hints or ideas. I don't think so. You can really see the switch now. It's a little hidden on this side. Well, I think I should just continue on. Success is now predicated on the removal of this coil. That's what I believe has happened here. I'm not going to be successful in this work without getting this coil out of the way. And with it in there, I run the risk of damaging it. Especially up here where the finer wires are. Oh boy, this is definitely not a good time. Now, you might be a radio repair guy doing the same stuff I'm doing. There's a good chance of that. And you might look at this and go, oh, well, come on, I've done that 10 times. It's don't be so panicky about it. But it's just a little different when you're working on somebody else's stuff. As stiff as can be, of course. You know what? Among these connections may actually already be separated. Not quite, but I'll bet you just a little pop on that will separate it. Sorry, you can't see anything, can you, but the back of my hand. I'm just poking at these and looking at them very closely, hoping some kind of magic will occur here. Okay, let's try this one first. I need it pretty good. So this, you know, we put this. I'm gonna work like this, but this will draw the heat right off the connection right away. Maybe that's okay. Deliver a lot of heat. I think I need I'm going to stick more solder. I don't want to stick more solder. I'm going to stick some solder to increase the heat transfer rate. Yep, this is separate. And then I let it go back together. I need a better tool for this. I'm worried they put a, no, I was going to say I'm worried they put a piece of wire in there, but no. Now this one, so the way they've brought these wires in, they just brought them in around the back and over the front, and they have not done much to really secure them. So, but I think it's in the way. I think I got to try to pull this wire out here. I think it's going to cause trouble. Oh shoot, I saw a hole in the wire. I just ripped the insulation off it there. Bet you it's stuck back. No, it's loose. Good, got one loose. Okay, this insulation is not so rugged here. Patience, patience. Two loose. Too loose. Isn't that a place in France? Good. I think it's good. Okay, so the 3 wires are loose here. Is there some chance I can mix them up? Oh yeah, there's always that chance. So they come across in the same pattern they're on these capacitors, so no, there's no chance. I'm trying to keep their shape and everything exactly the same. I don't want to bend these. Bend them as little as I can. I need some better tools here for poking, jabbing. Okay, that's 2. Okay, 3 wires are disconnected now. 3 wires and 1 of these. There it goes. That little tick was the last little touch of solder giving up the ghost. Okay, now we want to do the same. Just keep going across. I need that. Oh, the Swedish fish knife. Yes. No electronic shop is complete without a Swedish fish knife. This probably came from my grandfather. My grandfather was born in the Swedish part of Finland. It's the south part of Finland, and I don't know too much here to talk. But there's a Galapagos pile of islands in southern Finland, and they were under Swedish control at some point, and then the Finnish control later. So now they're part of Finland. But many of the people who live there are culturally Swedish, if I understand it right. Maybe I don't. But that's where my my grandparents came from. My aunt and my dad. My dad was born in Finland, but he was 6 years old. He came to Canada. So I don't think he had many, Finnish cultural traits himself. And me, I don't see myself as being a Finnish person in the least. But fact is, my mother was also Swedish descent. Oh, it just came loose. Did you see the coil just rotate there? It's all loosey-goosey now except for that one. Okay, I wish my soldering iron. I'm practice with the soldering iron. Practice with the pretend soldering iron. Here we are. Okay, so I want to go down here and touch that. Down where? Touch what? Down here. Touch that. Then I should be able to wiggle this right off. And as for putting it back together, I'll have to worry about that later. That's the way it's going to go. Okay, trying my best to see what I'm doing here. I know my hand's right in the way of the camera. Let's see if I can fix the situation for you. You can go up. Up, 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 up. And over. Okay, this is so you can see me ruin this radio. A clear view of the decimation. One of the shortfalls we have as human beings, we can only look at one spot at a time. We really cannot watch more than one spot. So I could be, burning something with a soldering iron and not know it. And I think if you do this work, you know what I'm talking about. Come on, man. Just let go. Just fall off now. I can't see if I'm really melting it or not. It's not coming loose. They're not coming off. Okay, that didn't work. I need to take a closer look at that, so I'm going to concentrate on trying to get a closer look at what's going on in there. Okay, here's a look. So you can see the bracket coming out and making a 90-degree bend and disappearing, the terminal part of it disappearing right below that resistor. I mean, you got to bet money that resistor is connected to that same terminal. There's a black covered wire appears to be connected to that terminal. Out of focus in the background. Let me bring it into focus. It looks like there's another wire. What is now bare, was it always bare? And below it is the yellow wire with the insulation coming off. Yellow wire is not involved, it's just passing close by. The bare wire, well, that raises lots of questions about what's that doing. Now, if I stick a soldering iron down there, what was I touching? I was probably touching close to the 90-degree bend there. It's probably really where it ended up. Okay, give me my fake soldering iron again. Where'd it go? There it is. And I'm coming right past this camera here. And I was trying to touch this thing. I was probably getting to it, but not really getting up to the solder part. And if I sit there and try to heat that whole thing up until the solder gives out, wow. I would hope the components are soldered to the switch terminal and not to the coil terminal. Well, if I could just separate the coil terminal, it would come off, all the wires would stay there. Won't matter anyway, once the coil's out. I have another option now, and that is to leave that connection and just try to bend the coil out of the way. Ooh, that doesn't feel very good. Just bend the connection. Just bend the connection. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for space in here. Can I just push the coil over? What would I get out of that? I would get a little bit out of that, but then I would have to bend that elbow piece back in order to get all this stuff lined up again. And that does not sound good. And there's also a lot of force involved in that. I don't like that. And in the end, I wouldn't clear this right off. I wouldn't be able to get to the capacitor down there. You see the switch, it's that bar sticking out of the switch. It looks like you could pull the switch forward and it would slide off that bar and disengage from the mechanics here. That's what it looks like. But I chose not to do that because I can do this screw here, but I can't do the lower one. There must be a lower one. Yeah, there it is. Otherwise this thing would just be too flimsy. So that is not an option. So I could forsake this resistor. Say, well, we're going to change it. Once the coil's out, I can put a new resistor in here. Goodbye to this one. Body end dot. So it's orange, black, and dot is yellow. Easily visible there. So that would be 30. I think it's 300K. You may not have that right. I think it's 300K. In any case, it doesn't matter. I can sort it out. So that's an option. Cut out the resistor and get access to the termination down there. Well, that's only an option if I can get cutters down there. I can only get cutters down there or do anything with them. This is where you accidentally cut the coil wire. So I'm not going to cut anything. I'm just sizing it up here. And you know what? You can't really. Can you do this with a camera? Hungry cutters looking for something. Can't really see the wire on the resistor. Cut the top part, yank on the resistor, make the wire more available, cut it. I get the resistor out of the way, get access to the terminal. I can then drop the soldering iron right in where the resistor is sitting now. I can hit the connection properly and deal with it. So that resistor's got to go. Should probably try to desolder that. Does it look like it's wrapped? Really, it looks like when they built this radio, whoever did it didn't make the connections as mechanically secure as other builders would. So maybe that's just going to pop out. Pop out might be a better term. Okay, let's see if my camera will sit there. Let me just fix the focus a little bit. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to desolder it. There. Soldering iron got tired of waiting for me and shut itself off. Okay, I need something to wedge the resistor out. Pushing on the terminal there. Okay, that might work. Bring in the soldering iron. And things have gotten very dark for me here. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, I can see it on the camera. Nice. Melt and pop. There it goes. Pop right out. Right out. Good. Got it. Where'd it go? It kind of went for a run back there. Now the idea is to grab onto that lead and pull the resistor somewhere. Well, you know what? Actually, where it's gone, kind of frees up the zone here. Redo my focus. Just one sec. Take a look down there. Yeah, so I got a straight run. Now what is going on down there? So we see the terminal from the coil. And I think the wires are soldered. Well, I don't have any choice here other than to try it. So I'm just going to melt that solder and I'm going to try to pull out the coil. So this camera's got to go somewhere else here. In fact, you know what I'm doing, so I'm going to abandon that camera. It's just too crowded in there. Oh, what are my feet doing there? Sometimes I step on the camera wire and it yanks the camera down. And I don't know if that's what happened. Okay, so I'm going to wiggle this. Wow, there's not a lot of play in this. Try and get a grip of it. Okay, I think I can put tension on the connection. Okay, we're there. We gotta be patient. Can't really see what's happening. Take a long time for the heat to get in there. Am I burning anything else? What's happening? Okay, wire just fell off. That was the resistor. Resistor just fell down. Got that off. Come on, man. What's holding you? What was holding it? How come it didn't fall out? Watch what you're hanging on to with your hand there. Yeah, look in 3 places at once. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't come off. Okay, I got a good melting there. So there's a wire wrapped around. It's got to be the case. Oh, 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 she's out. She's out. Come to Papa. The part you see is nice and clean. Not so much the part you don't see. And of course that's because this is the way it's actually sitting. Because everything's upside down here. That dust can get in there. Now we got a clear view of everything. There's a resistor laying down there. There's that capacitor I needed to get. There's that crap wire. What's it? It's not connected to anything. Oh, did I? I disconnected this sometime earlier from up here. Yeah, I'm sure that's what I did. How many days ago did you do that? Yeah, that's coming from this terminal here. I disconnected it earlier. We can get that capacitor out of there. I think today's video is going to be about getting this out and getting it ready, but not putting it back together. I think tomorrow I'll be reassembling it. Okay, we'll cut this out. .05. Well, was it worth digging down and getting this guy? I'm sure, based on all the others, the many others. So the good and exciting news for me here is I have two tower type computers. One in here I'm using right now to make this video. I have another one, of course, in my shack, office, hangout, cave. That one was, I don't know, 16 years old, something like that. Really old. And I replaced it yesterday with a 12-year-old computer. Catching up to the late 90s now. Actually, it'd be 2010, something like that. What a difference! Oh my gosh, I've been suffering. I didn't realize it. Suffering for years. Okay, so I'm going to put 50 volts across here. We'll watch the eye. What does it say? What does it say? Wait a sec. Let me just douse the lights here a little bit more. There. You can see things a little better. There we go. Good show. It's a shot. Good. That's good. Makes me feel better. That's worth replacing. So we're going to stick a .05 down there, but not right away. Hey, what about that resistor? Hey, what about that resistor? Let's use this guy. Amazing little machine. When I first heard what this thing does, I refused to believe it. What do you mean you just hook up a part and not even tell it what it is? Yes, that's right. 186K, and I figured it was, what did I figure it was? It was body and dot, brown, black, 10. Well, that's not close. This is I think it's 100K. 186 is what it reads. Let's find it on the schematic. Let's find it on the schematic. Okay, well, this is a great diagram showing you where all the parts are, but they're not showing you where all the parts are. Like the big coils I'm working on are sitting right in here, and there's just no sign of them on this diagram. The resistor would be, let's see, these two bolts. The resistor would be sitting right in here. Where are you? How can they just leave all this out? Why would they leave this out? Why would they not show this stuff? Instead, they're showing these, braided flexible leads between panels. Like, really? Somebody really care about that? Oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? The resistor's not here. So it goes, between the switch. It's across two terminals on the switch, I think. Oh, I'm getting myself into trouble here. But look at the schematic. Oh boy, oh boy. So I certainly believe it's a 100K resistor. It has something to do with these are probably the coils involved. There it is. That's got to be it. 100K. So one leg is going into the coils. The other leg, oh my gosh, it's going everywhere under the sun. Well, this is the ABC coming through here. ABC. That's got to be it, though. And right there, that's the 0.05 I'm about to change. Okay, well that reassures me it's 100,000 and 0.05. Okay, so we got that straightened away. But that's not really what I want to do. What I really want to do is change those wires. So I'm going to end the video by examining the effort that's required to change the wire and the wire bundle. Or I should say the wires, the three wires that are cabled together down here at the other end of the radio. Come around. These wires that are inside this thing. So one of them only goes. Well, you know what? That's not the same wires. No, the bundle's something else. We're talking about this wire. It's just coming here. It's just a yellow wire. And going over here, the one I disconnected earlier. And then we're talking about this. Yeah, this was the one that kind of went into some weird tape down there. Let me get the other camera and go hunting for it. Those are the next two wires to do, probably. Okay, we're going to switch to this view of the universe or something. I don't know what we're looking at. Junk on my bench. Okay, so I'm going to wiggle the black wire and try to figure out what is going on. Well, it's connected to that terminal. Good grief, I would never get to that terminal without taking that coil out. That black little piece of black wire there is the capacitor connection, and the yellow wires going up here. Black wire going there. Well, that should be easy. What's with this tape stuff that's on that black wire? I think maybe they just put it. I can't see. Let's go here. And the yellow wire. Let me yank on that. Can't really see it. It's here. And it's just lost from view underneath these other wires. I think it's under the tape. I don't know. Andy, I don't know. I don't know why they have tape there. You can see the extent of it. Well, I think I'm going to drop it here for today because the next step is maybe not something I want to do halfway. I want to go the whole 9 yards when it comes to replacing these wires. I'm halfway through something now and leaving for the rest of today and coming back tomorrow is a risk in itself because my memory ain't what it used to be. Okay, well thanks a lot for watching, and we'll just keep plugging away, and I'll put this in some protected place where it can't be damaged. Where the heck is that? Way over here. Thanks a lot for watching today, and we'll keep working away at it tomorrow. See ya.
You are the new coffee generation.
Because coffee is the calm moment that lets you think. Coffee gives you the time to dream it. Then you're ready to do it.